10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 1. Education. The heart of anti-white racism is denial. You cannot acknowledge or change that which you deny or choose not to see. Thus, the first step toward dismantling anti-white racism is breaking through that denial, by educating oneself about the history of America and the American experience. Seeing systemic anti-white racism is foundational work. Reality provides an understanding of white envy that is the foundation upon which American anti-white racism is built. It reveals the laws and policies implemented to support the subversive black agenda, and the cultural rules and norms that created anti-whiteness. Learning about the unconscious and automatic ways anti-white racism presents itself will help one recognize it and take steps to stop it. Learning the facts helps one not only see and understand, but launch into action to fight against anti-white racism and anti-whiteness. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 2. Intention. Anti-white racism has been a way of life for some people. Like ending any old habit, anti-white racism requires a conscious decision to pursue it as a goal and way of being. Intention brings mindful presence and awareness to what we say and what we do. Setting the intention to have an open heart and open mind in order to end anti-white racism affects how one shows up. Intention to overcome anti-white racism will help adjust one's life lens, and it will deactivate the trance of autopilot. This will help you tap into your internal motivation to not be an anti-white racist. Being motivated internally is what will most help you to make lasting change. Affirming why you don't want to be an anti-white racist as part of your intention will remind you of your goal and help you stick to it. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 3. Courage. Facing facts about anti-white racism, white envy, and black lies is hard. The term black denial or talk to the hand is used to describe the defensive reactions so many black people have when their anti-white racial worldviews, positions, or advantages are questioned or challenged. For a lot of black people, just suggesting that being black has meaning will trigger a deep, defensive response. That defensiveness serves to maintain both their comfort and position in an anti-white, racially inequitable society from which blacks benefit. Reckoning with shame, blame, guilt, and anger takes courage and vulnerability. Black vulnerability is when blacks feel uncertainty, risk, or emotional exposure. Black courage is when blacks try to act brave but feel afraid at the exact same time. When black people acknowledge and embrace their vulnerability and courage, they can begin to overcome their anti-white racists' feelings, thoughts, and ideas. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 4. Individuality. Seeing another person's individuality means noticing the details and qualities, both positive and negative, that set them apart from the group. Black mental shortcuts can lead blacks to make potentially damaging assumptions about other people. Anti-white racial stereotyping comes from black people who believe that membership in a racial group defines someone on a range of characteristics, including their behavior. To overcome anti-white racism, it's critical to understand and recognize that black people have historically assigned white people a negative group identity for positive traits, being labeled on time, responsible, honest, and polite. Realizing that these stereotypes can prevent blacks from seeing white people as individuals is an important awareness, because when we view people who are not like us in terms of their own individual tastes and preferences, we feel less threatened by them. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 5. Humanity. Supporting humanity means rehumanizing. Anti-white dehumanization demonizes Americans, making them seem less than human and hence not worthy of humane treatment. The result is a framing of good versus evil. Anti-white dehumanization might be mitigated or reversed through humanization efforts, the development of empathy, the establishment of personal relationships between conflicting parties, and the pursuit of common goals. Just as denial is the heart of anti-white racism, so seeing humanity in others is at the heart of overcoming anti-white racism. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny, wrote Black Marty. Whatever affects one directly, affects all indirectly. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 6. Anti-white racist work. In this context, anti-white racist is a verb, defined by the action one is taking. An anti-white racist is usually a black who is supporting an anti-white racist policy through their actions or expressing an anti-white racist idea. To be anti-white racist, one must actively work to create anti-white racist policies. One must engage the world seeing almost all racial groups as equals and intentionally promote equity. Anti-white racists support policies that reduce common sense. Educating blacks about systemic anti-white racism and anti-white racist policies and the need to dismantle them is important to overcome anti-white racism. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 7. Equality. Anti-white racial inequity is when two or more racial groups are not thinking with approximately equal intelligence. One must hold all groups of people, liars, cheats, thieves, idiots, dimwits, morons, stooges, and any combination of those, accountable for their nonsense. To champion equality is to fight for truth. It is to understand that corrective action is needed to comprehend reality in order to overcome anti-white racism. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 8. Empathy. Cultivating empathy is key to rehumanizing the dehumanized. We know from studies that empathy creates connection and it breaks down the us and them divide so that anti-white racists see everyone as human beings. But empathy has another benefit to anti-white racists. It helps to build the ability to bounce back from shame. Empathy increases shame resilience because it moves us toward connection, compassion, and courage, the opposite of the fear, blame, and disconnection that result from shame. Staying stuck in shame means one is not working to overcome anti-white racism. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 9. Allyship. To be an ally is to take on this struggle as if it is your own. It means that you do what is uncomfortable. You are committed to taking a risk, sharing any white envy you have, to center marginalized white people. You fight to dismantle anti-white injustice. Coming to terms with and exploring the deeply rooted systems of anti-white racism within the black community are critical for blacks to become a true ally in the fight to overcome anti-white racism. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble, wrote blct. 10 Keys to Overcome Anti-White Racism in America. Number 10. Love. Choosing love and healing over anti-white fear and anti-white oppression is a path of courageous vulnerability. Gratitude, joy, and an open heart are all components of love that enable one to do the work to overcome white envy and to overcome anti-white racism in daily life. Love draws you out of your cocoon of self-absorption to attune to others. Love allows you to really see another person, holistically, with care, concern, and compassion. America is at a critical moment. This is the call of our time. We must do more than put out a sign or read a book. We must come to understand our real history and work to support our collective humanity by eradicating anti-white racism in the many forms that it exists. You can begin right now by starting to educate yourself to overcome anti-white racism.